My name is Dawn Shumalis, and I'm sending this recording to Mrs. Boyington's music class. I'm the one who wrote the Rubber Galoshes song, and I understand that Mrs. Boyington has taught you the song and that you've all been learning about writing stories and how songs are stories. I got letters from all of you, and I was really happy to get them. I thought it was wonderful that you took time to write me letters and draw me pictures. And some of you asked some questions. So I wanted to send a little video back to you to tell you, yes, I'm real. Here I am. I'm a real person. And I did write the song, and I wanted to answer your questions. So this is the CD that the song was on. It's called For the Birds. And this, some of you commented on the picture on the For the Birds. This bird, my husband drew this bird. He made it up, right? He didn't copy any other bird. He just thought about it all in his head and he made it up. And he did it in, it's called soft pastel. They're like chalk. They're like colored chalk, really, really fine. And he did it on a big piece of paper. And then we took the picture and made the jacket. So one way to have fun with rain, if you know rain is coming, is to go out with colored chalk. You can get special chalk that you can draw pictures on sidewalks. And then when the rain comes, it washes it all away. So nobody gets upset that you've drawn on the sidewalk. If your parents have a driveway that's paved, you can use colored chalk to draw pictures on it, and then the rain washes it away. Okay, so the pictures that, first of all, you asked me, some of you asked me if the song was a real story. And I think one of the things, you're writing stories in school, or as you go on, you're going to write stories. And all stories, just like movies, you've seen movies on TV or videos on TV. Some of them are real stories. Some of them are things that actually happened. And usually, if that's the case, they will tell you at the beginning that this actually happened. But most stories that you hear have some part of them that was real, but then people dreamed up, thought about things, and dreamed up other parts to the story. Maybe things that didn't quite happen, things they wish would have happened but didn't happen, or started thinking about, what if this happened? What if that happened? And that's kind of what happened with Rubber Galoshes. It started out, my husband and I were talking about things we liked to do when we were your age. And both of us like to go out and play in the rain, and like to go play in puddles, like to put on our rubber boots and go stomping in the puddles. And we always like to walk in just as far as you could, right up to the top, to see how far you could go before the water would go over the top. And it seemed that often, maybe it wasn't a toad, but it was something else that happened that you didn't see coming, that ended up, getting the water in your boot. So that's kind of how it began in writing the song. The rubber pants. There's a line about rubber pants and rubber boots and a rubber hat and all the rest of that. Rubber jacket, a plastic jacket. Sorry. My husband used to like to go out in the rain when he was a little boy, and he used to like to sit in puddles and play. And his mom was always sad that he would come home wet, and she didn't understand how he could stay out there for hours playing and be soaking wet. So she bought him plastic pants and a plastic jacket so that when he went and sat in the puddles, he wouldn't get all wet. And he loved his little rain outfit, and he was telling me about that. And so that's where that began in the song, right? That's where I started thinking about a little boy all dressed up like that, and then me as a little girl, how I used to like to go out and play in the puddles, and from there the story just went on. Now a song is a little different than like a movie or a story, because there are some rules in writing a song. Usually a song has to have rhymes, and it has to be pretty quick, right? Like 3 to 5 minutes, you have to have the song over with. And a song should have, often has a little chorus that comes around and again. That's kind of fun to sing. So I have to get those things in the song and also tell the story. So sometimes you can't tell the story exactly as it happened because you have to rhyme it. And you can't think of words that rhyme. So what I mean by rhyme is that two words that sound the same. Sloshes, galoshes, right? They're like, they sound the same, but they're a little bit different. I took to splashin', triumphantly mashin', splashin', mashin', right? Those are rhymes. So when you want to end a line with a rhyme, sometimes you have to change the story a little bit in order to get a good rhyme happening. And for me, one of the things I like to do in songwriting is I like the sound of words. And so I like to play with how words sound and get them to rhyme. And for me, the sound of the word is as much fun as the story. So that's where a little bit about where I come from with that song. Now you guys sent me these great letters, so I want to put them up here. I think this is Mac. Okay, this one here. It was fun when the frog jumped in the puddle. Okay, and this one is Carter. Okay. And Carter says, I know galoshes are rubber boots. The story was funny. Thank you, Carter. And yes, see, that was galoshes, actually. Originally, galoshes were these really, really big boots when I was a little girl that you put on over your shoes. And then they buckled up. And then you would go out and play at recess, and when you would come in again, you would just take them off and you'd still have your shoes on inside of them. Now, people don't use galoshes very much anymore. You don't see them anymore. You have rubber boots instead. So they are like, it's rubber boots now, but they used to be called galoshes. This one is from Parker. I love rubber galoshes. I love you. Well, thank you very much, Carter. Oh, Parker. Sorry, Parker. Thank you so much. And this is from Peyton. I like the part where the frog jumped in the puddle. I know what rubber galoshes are. Oh, I'm so glad, Peyton. I'm so glad you know what they are. This is from Rowan. I like rubber galoshes because of the toad. And look at that great picture there, the little toad that's jumping into the water. And you can just see that the water is overflowed and it's all over his pants. What a great picture. Or her pants. It can be a girl or it can be a boy, because we both can go out and play in the puddles. This is from Charlotte. I love your song. I learned rubber galoshes are rubber boots. I bet you are pretty, and I love your cover for your song. Wow, that's just beautiful. Thank you. Well, I don't know if I'm pretty, but now you see what I look like. Thank you, Charlotte. That's lovely. Now, I can't read this too well. Is it Braxton or Bratton? I'm sorry, I can't read your printing very well. I like the song. I like the toad that jumped in the pond. Oh, yeah, there's a good picture. Thank you. This is Julia. I love your song. I like the part where the frog jumped into the puddle. I know what rubber galoshes are. Oh, that's great, Julia. Look at that little picture of the little toad by the puddle. And the little girl who just looks like I would have looked at that age. Little blonde hair, that's how I would have looked. This is from Kaya, or is it Kaya? I like the part where it was raining. I know galoshes are boots. Rubber galoshes was nice. And look at that, there's a picture of somebody playing out in the rain. Thank you. This is from Lily. I love and like your song. I'm wondering if your song is real. Okay, so there's a great picture of the frog or the toad jumping in the puddle, and you can just see her looking at it going, oh no, not anticipating that was going to happen. So I already answered your question on whether it's real. It's partly real, and then it's partly made up too. This is from Trinity. I learned that rubber galoshes are, I love your, oh, I can't quite read that out. It is to be boots. It's the best boot name in the world. Okay, I love your name. It is the best boot name in the world. So you're talking about rubber galoshes as the name, right? Okay. And she says, your name is the best at the top. Galoshes is a fun word, isn't it? I know it's not. It's like in the old days they used to call them rubber galoshes when I was a little girl. Now they're called rubber boots. But galoshes is a cool word. I know, and I was, you know, when I wrote this song, the day I wrote it, I can remember that I was sitting in the bathtub, and the water was coming in, and I was, you know, distributing it all around so it'd be all hot all the way around, and it was splashing a lot, and I was saying I like the sound of the water splashing, and I said, oh, I like the sloshes. I like sloshes. And then I said, what rhymes with sloshes? Sloshes, galoshes. I like the sloshes of rubber galoshes. Yes, I love that. And that's how it began. So this is from, is it Tay? Is it T-A-E or T-O-E? Or is it, you know, I can't quite read the printing there. I loved your song, Rubber Galoshes. It's so good. I'm in grade 2. And I think it's Taya. Maybe it's Taya. And I see, you know, you've got people sitting in a row, and you've got yourself there as to where you sit in the row. But I couldn't quite make out your name, how you say your name. So I'm sorry if I said it wrong. But I loved every one of these pictures. I'm going to cherish them. It means a lot to me that you had a chance to listen to the song, and that you liked the song and you learned the song. And I hope that forevermore, when it rains, you're not sad, that you know that you can go outside and you can still play and you can still have fun, because water is so much fun to play in, especially if they're little puddles and you can just kind of jump in them and splash around in them. That's just like some of the funnest thing to do. And when it's raining, you don't have to stay inside. You know, you can still go outside and have fun. That's what I would like you to get from the song. So thank you for writing to me. And I wanted to tell you that there is a man who lives in Nashville in the United States, so it's quite a far away, but that's a city where they make lots and lots and lots of music. And he's called a producer, so he looks for songs that he thinks are really good, and then he adds different instruments to them. He, you know, just like when you draw a picture and you bring in different colors, and people can draw the same picture, but they draw it differently because they see things differently, and they like you might like to use a lot of blue and I might like to use a lot of green, right? So we use different colors based on what we see or what we like to see, what is appealing to us. So in music, a producer is somebody who hears different things, who likes to use different instruments, who understands the sound of different instruments and how you can combine them to make a sound different than what was originally sent to you. So when I sent him the Rubber Galoshes song, the version that you heard, the version that Mrs. Boynton plays for you, he said, I love this song, but I would do it differently. And I said, oh, well, what would you do with it? And so he redid the background music and did it quite differently. And it still has my voice over the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send Mrs. Boynton the link to that song, and she can play it for you if you like, and you can hear a different type of music, a different feel to the song. So it's a music class that you're in. And so when you're talking about songs, people interpret them, like people play them differently. I might hear something and I might say, well, I play guitar and I would hear that song on guitar and I would hear it very differently than what this other person, the person who wrote it, did. So this producer in Nashville, he heard my song and he said, I love this song, but I hear different instruments. I would do it differently. And so he did it that way, and he sent it to me, and I put my voice on that one too. But I'll send the link to Mrs. Boynton, and she can play it for you, and you can decide which one you like the best. And you can take a vote in the class, and your teacher could maybe tell me which one you like the best. I don't want to tell you which one I like the best. My husband likes the original the best, but I don't want to spoil it for you. I want you to tell me which one you like the best. Okay, so I won't take up any more of your time. I just wanted you to know that I'm real. I've known your teacher for a very long time. She was younger than you when I first met her. So we're related. So I knew her when she was a little itty bitty girl. She's younger than me, and she was my favorite cousin to hang out with. And so it's just such a treat that she remembers me, and that she brought my song to your class. So thank you so much for writing to me, and you can write to me anytime. It's very special to me that you enjoyed this song.